Do I need to raise money to start a business?
It depends what kind of business that you're starting. If you're building a factory, you probably might need a couple extra bucks, here or there. But like when we, I kind of like things with low overhead, fewer moving parts. I would I Yeah, people think that to make a lot of money, I don't think people think. A lot of people seem to think that to make a lot of money, you have to have something massive. You've got to have all those, 1,000 employees and
Right.
locations in 16 places, and you don't. If you do something where like what we do is credit card processing, you can just be sitting here with a phone and a pen and just making a lot of connections, and it costs you you have a computer, a pen, and your phone bill, and of course a couple other little expenses, a printer, some things like that. But with that, we've created a lot of wealth and a lot of freedom along the way. I remember I'd known this guy for years, and because he didn't see that I got six restaurants around town, he goes, "Oh, we met somewhere. I don't remember what the car." And he was like, "Oh, I didn't know you did this stuff. I didn't know any of these things. I just thought you kind of worked at home. It's like doing not much and not creating much." And no, 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 no. And he's like, "Wow, I had no
Right.
idea." But most people think that it's again, you've got to have six. If you have six restaurants around town, that's a big deal. You must be rolling. And you go, I don't want six
Mhm.
restaurants around town. You know how many people that takes, and
Mhm.
and fire codes and stuff that goes haywire, and people don't show up, and you've got to go, put an apron on and flip, steaks, burgers, lobsters, whatever I don't want that stuff. Man, I want to be able to be nimble and quick.
Mhm.
I'd rather be use my resourcefulness and create something that gives me freedom than have somebody else's resources that change me down.
Yeah, and raising money and having that kind of partner that comes in with just money, they want a big payout for
Yeah,
that.
you don't.
Be
I would rather
resourceful.
not have
Use
that. I
resourcefulness.
did that one time a long time ago, and
Right. Me too.
they kick money in, but they don't do any work, and they want a return on their investment. And you're going, okay, you
Yeah.
you wish you wouldn't have, and it wasn't that much
Right.
money, but it was a hassle. Now you've got to, it was just a hassle working with them, and I was happy to uh,
Mhm.
pay them back and just go, look, I'll give you money back. I don't want to.
Mhm.
I don't want to. I can't do this. So I told them, I go, look, I'll give you money back, or I'm just going to stop and you're going to lose everything. What do you prefer? And I want my money back. Yeah, it's something I'd steer clear of as absolutely much as possible. I'd rather have resourcefulness, and also in when you're using resourcefulness, you learn new things because you go, all right, how do I do this without having to have that? How can I be resourceful and clever, and how can I find new ways? How fast can I find new ways, and probably end up innovating and
Right.
then you innovate ways, and then you look back after you've done all that stuff to the time when you go, oh my God, I almost brought on this big partner, and I thank God I didn't do that. I wouldn't have not been able to do all these things, all these freedom sort of things that and been innovative and figured out new ways. And that feels good to come up with new ways that work. And you go, man, that it feels good to it feels good to create new ways that and it's not just create new ways. It's like it feels good to be resourceful. Let's say that. It feels a lot better to be resourceful, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah, it is. It feels so much better to be resourceful than to rely on resources. Resources cost
Yeah.
a lot of money. Resourcefulness costs almost nothing. And you build confidence and independence and self-reliance.
That's why passive income deals are a lot easier too. Because when you
Yeah.
do want to expand, you already have cash flow. Like it's there. Because bottom line, what happens when you expand or you kind of get into little different parts of business growth? What got you to that point? Your attention shifts a little bit, right? So maybe you're not acquiring as many new accounts as you were because you're trying to build something for the next level. Well, if you don't have that passive income stream coming
Yeah.
in, it's really hard to grow. It's super hard to grow because you have to
Right.
absorb it all
Right.
to pay your bills, to live. So like when is it time to expand? You can clearly look at, okay, my passive income has finally met the point where it covers all my living expenses. So you have choices to make. I'm financially free, or do I want to grow this to another level, or just keep going where I'm going? But passive income, I can't stress enough how that
Holy cow.
much of a
Well,
game
look
changer
at
having passive
right
income
here where I'm
is
sitting.
it's
Yeah,
huge.
this is not home, and it's Chuck is sitting at our
Right,
office in Minnesota, and I'm at a place that
right,
I bought with extra passive income. you know, and this is where when I'm in Florida, this is
right.
where I
Yeah,
work is here. And actually, there's a place right next door uh, that I bought both of these places, and it was because I had extra passive income. So Chuck's like, it's okay. If this is zero and this is passive income and this is these are my bills. And so once I get past here, okay, I make enough where I can buy one of these places and maybe I rent it out. You get into rental real estate, like the one next door is a vacation rental. This one was until my wife said, "Oh, you know what? This is really kind of nice. Maybe we should keep this for ourselves." And I said, "No, no, no. This is a business deal. You don't understand." And then of course she said that
yeah, right, right.
ultimately what happened is this
Ultimately,
is
what
not
happened?
a
It's
rental
a place for
anymore. This is
yourself.
this is this is where I end
Yeah,
up working.
exactly.
So, but that's what you can do with passive income. And so if you don't have a
It,
renter, like if you just have a job and you somehow scrape up enough money for a down payment on a piece of real estate that you rent, and then you don't rent it, well, now you're upside down and you're in trouble. With this situation, if it doesn't rent, that's a bummer. But I have enough passive income to cover all my bills plus the mortgage on that place. So passive
right.
income is nice, and you get free, and then you can add more things. It's an interesting game.